Hello, welcome to Stampin' by Hannah. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's been a little bit of a while again, hasn't it, between videos, and I do apologise for that. I have good reason. Basically, the day job's just a bit mental. Even more mental than usual. But anyway, so I do have a card for you today, and I am hoping to get into this somewhat regularly, video making again, because I've got the opportunity, I've got the time, sort of carved out to do it. So there's definitely a video this week. I can't promise one next week, but hopefully there will be another couple before Christmas. But I have got the Merriest Moments stamp set and hybrid embossing folder bundle for you. Now, this is in this catalogue, and I should have looked it up before to show you exactly whereabouts it is, and I forgot. So, there it is. And it's really easy to miss. For all it takes about an enormous page, I think this bundle is one of those ones that's really easy to miss exactly what it does, because it's stunning. So the card I've got for you today kind of shows you different elements of this. You've got the stamp set, you've got the dies that go with it, but you've also got an embossing folder that you can use to emboss and cut at the same time, which is really cool, I think you'll agree. So, shall we get making? So I have got, like I said, I've got the stamp set. I have already done my bit of stamping. Most of this is going to be embossing and die cutting. But I've kind of pre-prepped some of it. I'll show you anyway. So we have got a card base in crumb cake, which I have pre-scored. I just need to burnish so it sits nicely. Now I make all my cards that way. But I know that when I send a card, it needs to open that way. Because people get really confused. It might just be my family, but they get really confused when you do a card that goes this way. I don't know. They always try, this bit gets ripped. I think I've just got really overzealous family. But anyway, so that's my card base. I've got a basic white layer to go on the front, and I've got a large scrap of basic white as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to run it straight through this embossing folder, and I'll show you kind of just embossing with this folder, because even just embossing with it is really pretty. So this is one of the 3D embossing folders in the catalogue. So if you are using your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the instructions for the sandwich are on the base plate. So you need this one here. So plate number 1 and plate number 4. I'm going to put plate number 1 down. And plate number 4 is the dark grey one. I'll just pop that there for a second. And then I need to take my embossing folder and line up my cardstock kind of in my embossing folder. Now, if you do it that way, kind of you open the folder and put it in, you can't quite see. So what I've started to do is turn your embossing folder the other way over and line it up that way. Now, Stampin' Up have got a really nice line at the bottom, but actually in this case, it's too high up. So I want to move it down a little bit, because we need to make sure that all of the kind of frame that's embossing element is covered. So there's that. I want to make sure that that's the free edge and that's the hinge. Put that on my base plate. Put plate number 4 on the top and roll it through. Okay. So open this up for you, and you can see that beautiful embossing on that, and you've got this lovely star element to it, and it's stunning. So that is the kind of first bit of our card. So that layer's going to go straight there on the front. Then I'm going to take that kind of big piece, large scrap, that's what I called it, wasn't it? I'm going to take plate number 4 away, and I want to use the sort of standard embossing folder, standard sandwich. So I've got my plate 1, plate 2, and 2 clear plates, so 2 plate 3s. I'm going to lay that down on the top, and then this die set is huge. It covers 2 sheets. So this large piece here, this die, is the one that if you want to kind of cut and emboss the whole thing in one go, this one fits inside, she says, fits inside the embossing folder like that, and you run the whole thing through like that, and you come out with an element that looks like that, which is really pretty. I want it a little bit more detailed than that today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slightly different sandwich. I'm going to use 2 passes through the machine. So I'm going to use this die. I'll pop that on my piece of Whisper White. Basic White. I'm still calling it Whisper White. It's really bad. I've not been Whisper White for a little while now. I'm going to run that through my cut and emboss machine. And that gives you this, which is stunning. The first time I did this, I played with this at a Stampin' Up event, a team event a couple of weeks ago, and we just stood there and ran things through the machine just to see what it looked like and how it worked. Because I think with embossing folders, particularly hybrid embossing folders, that's the thing to do, is just to get it home and run it through your embossing, your die cutting machine as many times as you like, in as many iterations as you can think of. So I've run that through. So you've got a really detailed die cut. Then I want my hybrid embossing folder. I'm going to take that die that I put in there out because I don't need that bit. And I'm going to line this up. Now this takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of fiddling. So is it that way or is it? Yeah, it is. So I'm going to line it up as best I can. And it's not the easiest thing to line up, I will completely admit. There, like so. I'm going to pop, I've got plate 1 and plate 4 again, so I'm going to put that straight down on there, plate 4 on, and roll it through. And then I'm going to move this out of the way, because I'm done with my die cutting for now. So, I've made such a mess. If you just run your cardstock through the embossing folder with this outline die in, this is what you get. If you run this through first, you use that first and then the embossing folder second. Ooh. That is what you get. Now, they're both really pretty, but I really love that. Just think that's stunning. So, I'm going to move all of these things out of the way. And this is kind of the simplest card I have made in ages. I have already made a version of this, I will admit as well. And I'll show you that in a second. So I'm going to keep it really, really simple. So I've got my concrete card base. That embossed panel, I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal straight down onto that panel. Like that. Then I have got this piece, and I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals just on the back. Like so. I don't know if anybody's seen my Instagram. I am loving Instagram at the moment. I mean, I posted a picture on my grid a couple of weeks ago, because I got my daughter, who's 2, in my craft room, and she sits and peels off the dimensionals for me. She's not here today. She's out with Daddy, but it's really handy having a helper in a craft room, even if she does just peel the backings off dimensionals. So we're going to line that up so it'll sit straight over. So you could, this layer you don't need necessarily because it's exactly the same as what's underneath. But I really loved the snowflakes behind. I think that's so pretty. And then I have gone ahead already and I have embossed the sentiment on this die cut piece, which is also part of the bundle. You get that die in as well, which fits beautifully into that square. So I need another load of dimensionals. Ooh, she says. One in each corner. Like so. I'm just going to layer that on like that. And that is my carpet today. Like I said, I have made a version of this already, and that is this one, which I made on that crafty weekend. And I really like it. It just it lacked something for me, but this is much more me. I really like this. But I did a wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see. There's a little bit of shimmer. Can you see? Oh, I don't know if my camera's picking that up today. I have got a boomerang that will go on my Instagram of the shimmer on this, because it is really shimmery. So that is my carpet today. Thank you ever so much for joining me. If you haven't got a demonstrator that you work with, or you'd like to shop with me, I would be so honoured if you choose to shop in my online store. All the links are in the description box below, and I hope to see you again really, really soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.